I want everyone to know that when God calls you to do something for Him, no matter what it is, that there will be things you will face and things you will have to overcome in order to accomplish what God has given unto you. When my mom passed away, I immediately became a pastor. Well, on top of dealing with grief and loss, I began to encounter other issues as I found myself in one of the biggest crossroads of my life. To say it was an emotional journey or battle for me, both mentally and spiritually, would be putting it lightly. In fact, this newfound journey provoked every emotion between me and God, and those emotions were very strong. The first thing I encountered was insecurities that I had as a pastor. I always struggled with the idea of being a pastor, a preacher I could accept, or even serving on auxiliaries and ministries inside the church, but I struggled with pastoring. As a pastor, I felt so unqualified, and this opened doors to insecurities. I didn't feel like I was good enough, even though I was loved and validated. I was concerned whether or not people would like me, the real me. I was afraid of saying and speaking what and how I felt. I had fears of being myself. I wanted people to think well of me. But I learned that I am enough. I am good enough. I learned the real me was and is imperfect, and that is the best part of me. I am a work in progress. I didn't need validation because God Himself validated me. I am under His divine construction. Another issue that I found myself dealing with were the criticism of other people. More often than not, it would leave me questioning my purpose. And needless to say, sometimes I found myself drowning in the criticism of others. I had to overcome the opinions of others of how I should talk, what I should say, opinions on how I should dress and how I should live, opinions on how I should act, opinions on my leadership style and preaching style, and yes, even on what to preach and how to preach it. What I've learned is criticism can be painful and harmful and harsh sometimes. It can be rude and ugly and unkind. However, it was good for my personal and spiritual development. I learned how to use criticism to mature, and it helped me grow. I've learned it's not what's being said or done to you, it is how you choose to respond. And how I chose to respond and handle it changed everything. I made a choice not to become bitter, but better. I learned that I couldn't entertain every word, every thought, and action that was done against me. I learned to pick and choose my battles. I learned not to make the person that was giving the criticism the bad person, the villain. I learned how to take the truth from the criticism, take it as a grain of truth, because I know the truth will always be the truth. Some things I just had to let go, take my hands off and my mouth off, and just leave it alone. By doing so, it didn't diminish who I was, my character, or the call of God. It didn't decrease my value. During this particular time in my life, I also became aware I had acquired what is called, and I now know to be, approval addiction. I needed the approvals of others, so I thought. I spent a lot of time wasted in ministry because I wanted the approval. I found myself changing my position or stance on things because others may or may not agree. Feeling upset, worried, and fearful after others disagree. I thought that I needed approval just to live. I had found myself running to everyone about everything to get a yes or an agreement. What I learned, and I did, I made the decision to just stop it. Be bold. Think well of myself. Surround myself around those who would celebrate me and encourage me, those who will keep me grounded and true to the purpose and the destiny and the call of God. Now I ask myself, is another's approval warranted in a matter? I learned to define what I want and pursue it. I cultivated myself and my value. In conclusion, these were some of the lessons and the encounters that I found myself facing as a pastor. There were feelings of pain, hurt, anger, grief, often left me feeling empty, lonely, numb, and uneasy. But I had to handle each differently and be healed from each. What I found interesting is God was healing me in one area and it was overflowing into other areas. No, I couldn't deal with the things all at once, but what's interesting is God was healing me in all areas. There were many steps I had to take and things I had to do that was necessary to walk through my journey. Spiritually, I delved into prayer. I surrounded myself around a core set of people that would speak life into me. And I had to get to a place of quiet and calm while I remained true to myself and to my calling. And that's what kept me grounded to the journey.